Hey guys, welcome back. Carter, BitsBeTrippin. Thanks to all the new subscribers and followers. I've seen a couple of videos out there from other creators that have been awesome and have shouted out the channel. So welcome all you new folks. Glad to have you. Been around for quite a long time on here and love to share the knowledge that we have as often as we can. So today we're going to have a real quick one related to a couple subjects that weren't brought up during the last live, or they were brought up in the last live stream. I just didn't have time to cover it because of the context in that would have been its own stream or its own video. So I'm just going to go straight to a quick video on this and kind of sell in the fact that we're going to have a live stream to really peel back the numbers on this discussion. And what that is the age-old question, if you're about to start mining, of should you buy the coin or should you buy the rigs and start mining? And it's a conundrum. And when you look at the long tail of it, there's a rationale of why you mine and the potential future state of what those tokens could be worth. But there's other factors when mining that you don't consider that is black and white when you're looking at just raw numbers. Like over time, quick spoiler alert, if you would have bought the coins, you would have made more than mining, period. But the problem to get you to that decision is, when do you buy? And that's one of the things I wanted to cover today on that subject. So before that, let's jump to our sponsor, and then we'll get into this. Decentralization is one of the most important factors in a global cryptocurrency network. Bitcoin's proof of work functions due to the exceptional security provided by the miners of the network. Today's sponsor is Compass Mining, a company with a customer-focused experience providing a tailored approach to purchasing, hosting, or even an at-home option, allowing anyone the opportunity to participate. If this interests you, head over to compassmining.io. All right, my dudes. So, do you buy or do you buy hardware? Well, it's a complex question, and it's a complex question because hardware you control. You understand what your costs going in are. You understand how much capital you're going to deploy, and you can watch some of these videos and understand how much power it's going to use and write up a very simple Excel sheet to figure out what your costs are going to be. Those are pretty fixed. It's usually your kilowatt cost and then over a range of time. And then that ends up getting you an understanding of what your costs are going to be, and then what's your ROI, right? That's what you're coming to. You're like, how quick can I pay off this 3090 if I buy one for $3,500 or $3,100, whatever. And then here's what my daily return on the coins that I'm going to mine, and what are the coins that I can mine. So you do those calculations, you try to make a decision. The hedge of why you would do that versus buy the coin is the fact that this hardware is still worth money, right? And you can mine with it for a little bit, pay some power, make it more than your power, and you're going to get a return of coin. And then at some later date, you could probably sell this for, half or more than what you bought it for. So you're taking a hedged risk versus buying a coin at any particular point in time. Yesterday, if we would have had this video, Ethereum is at 3,300. Today, it's at 2,900 because of some news, right? So if you bought yesterday, you'd be like, oh my God, I already lost $400. And maybe I should have bought then. Timing the market's nearly impossible, and it's hard. So there's various strategies when buying coins. With hardware, you buy that, it's fixed cost. You know what the cap cost is on it. You know what your power rate is. And then over time, you're mining and acquiring, and you're effectively doing what would be considered like a dollar cost average against the network hash rate, meaning hash rate goes up, you get less yield. So again, I'll say that one more time for folks that aren't totally following. You buy a graphics card, it's mining something, or you buy an ASIC and it's mining something. As difficulty goes up on that network, as more people start to mine, you get less and less yield. So if price stayed the same, you're going to get less money per day. I'll give you an example. An S19J Pro started off after the China shutdown in May. It was making $70 to $80 a day in profit after you pay your power cost at 10 cents per kilowatt. Then it dropped quickly to around $60. Now it's around $18 to $20 for 10 cents per kilowatt of bring home profit. It isn't because anything changed on the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin network's fixed when it comes to the hash rate until 10,024 blocks, and then that adjusts the difficulty There wasn't halving during this time. Purely as more people came onto the network and it's had additional difficulty, you get less and less yield. Now, price usually makes up for that, where your price goes up in value. Bitcoin goes from 33 to 60,000. That yield isn't $20 per day when you're converting it. It's more like you were making, 60, or $40 to $60 a day, depending on what the price is. So the fact that you get less yield is always a thing, especially as price discovery goes up, more people mine, you get less yield. So it's hard to predict in the long tail of like what the amount of, a lot of people do it in dollars, value of how many dollars you're going to have. But in reality, it's how much yield are you going to have? And then what's that yield going to be worth at a later date with a higher price point, right? Bottom line, I'm telling you kind of how the functionality works. What's the choice and decision making? Well, the choice and decision making is more than just what this thing can mine. What mining also allows you to do, which isn't calculated in those figures I just talked about, is if something new comes out, right? So we've had Ergo, we've had Flux, which came from Zell. We've had a few other networks come out where people can mine. And those first few days of being able to get onto those networks, Ton, some of those other ones, where you can pivot this graphics card to that new network that has a little bit of price discovery, you get a huge bump in potential revenue and return on this. And that's something that's not normally calculated. That's kind of the hidden gem, as it were, as a new network comes online. And there hasn't been any really big network launches, but what's happened is you had Ravencoin in the early days, you had Zcash in those early days, and you had the potential where something else could come online. Having a miner and maybe splitting that decision to where you have a couple cards, like whatever you were going to spend from a CapEx side, let's say $10,000, you buy a couple of GPUs, you put a small rig together. Now you have the ability to participate. You have the ability to mine that new network and potentially get a much larger return. Also, when those new networks come out, they're not available on exchanges, so you can't get access to those coins, right? So a new network comes out, you're like, hey, I want to get on. There's an OTC potential risk network, where people can try to do some over-the-counter exchanging for you. But if it's a non-registered, site, you're running the risk of somebody running with your money and all that kind of stuff. The only way to get them is mining. So mining gives you that opportunity potential, and that's part of the reason why people also mine. But if you're building a big operation and you're trying to do all the numbers, you got to justify that operation. Can you get your return? All that kind of stuff, usually predicated on known networks, and you got to run that math and the risk that's involved with that. But for you, a few miners that are potential people that are going to mine, wanted to have a quick video on, how to make that choice. Do you buy or do you mine? It comes back down to what's your intentions. Do you want the ability to participate on those new networks or not? Is that going to be the thing that you want to be able to get into? And when those networks come up and they become popular or something, and now it's going to be hard to get cards, or there's some other kind of the vantage point of being able to jump on that network or not. So that's part of what it is. It's a decision strategy. Hopefully that was a quick good one for you guys. We're going to peel this back in a live stream. So in a live stream, it allows me to bring up some numbers and pontificate with you guys on what are the realms of possible. So hindsight is 2020, looking backwards, right? We can see it very clearly because we have known states of information. We have known values. We'll pull some of that information into a wonderful spreadsheet for you guys and do some math of if you would have bought in dollar cost averaged versus mining and mine cost average, as I will call it, and figure out which one would have came out better, over a period of time. And then we can plan forward of, is there going to be an unknown new chain comes out where you can mine or not? Don't know. You can speculate. And then when's like Ethereum shut off and all that. So we'll do a spreadsheet on that. We'll do a live stream on that one. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know if you guys like this kind of content. Hopefully it gets you guys to some level of a point of making a decision if you're on that fence. And we will catch you guys on the next one.